Hello everybody. My name is Jocelyn and welcome to my channel, which I've decided to call Nala Bean Reads. Now, I decided to call it that because of my cat who passed away about a year ago, and I really miss her. Lately, I've been feeling pretty down, and the only thing that used to get me out of those moments was reading. So I thought that I would just start a channel to kind of encourage myself to read and also hold myself accountable for the goals that I'm setting for myself. So because this is my first video and I'm a bit nervous, I think the only thing I'm going to do right now is introduce myself and show you some of the books that I have bought. So I guess a mini book haul over the last few months. So let's get to it. Again, my name is Jocelyn. I'm 32 years old and I grew up in the Bay Area. I am married, but I have no children, and I guess those are the basics that I want you guys to know right now, just because of privacy issues. But if you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask me. And I think, again, I'm a little bit nervous, so I think I'm just gonna go into some of the books that I've bought these last few months. So the first book I got was The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I'm sorry if I totally butchered that. Michaelides? Anyways, I've heard a lot of good stuff about this book, and it sounded intriguing when I read the synopsis, so I really want to read that one. I recently just got Tell Me What You Did by Carter Wilson. Lately I've been into books that kind of creep you out and standalones, because I feel like for a really long time I wasn't reading because my mind just couldn't focus. I was constantly thinking about all the things that worry me, or was just scrolling or watching TV. So right now I'm doing a lot of standalones and maybe even some duologies, because I feel like that's how much my brain can handle right now. I also got The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. I saw this on someone's channel. I think it was on Instagram. I don't remember her name, but she also recommended The Deep, I think it's called. From what I remember of that book, it's that there's like mer people who are descendants of slaves who were thrown off ships and were pregnant, and so their babies evolved because of that situation. I really wanted to find that book at Barnes & Noble and I couldn't find it, so I looked for the other recommendation that she gave, so thank you. We all know how difficult this world has been this year, and I've been wanting to kind of educate myself as well into just how power can sometimes destroy others. And a lot of people have been recommending this book, Fahrenheit 451, Ray Bradbury. So I'm really excited to read this one as well. I was actually looking for this book when I was at a thrift store, and I couldn't find it. So at that point, I just found this one, White Fragility. Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism by Robin DiAngelo, and a foreword by Michael Eric Dyson. So, yeah, I was really looking for these two books at the thrift store, but I only found this one. And then I went this Friday again to the thrift store, sorry, to try and find more books, and I found this copy, but it was an older version, and it was like $1 or something. I can't remember. And I was like, great. You know, I already have it, but I could have had the older cover, which I think is nice as well, the older version, but it's okay. I got these two right now as a way to kind of educate myself. I also, I went to Barnes & Noble at one point because I was also looking for the Constitution of the United States with the Declaration of Independence. I've seen a lot of Instagrammers just recommend that we buy these because there's been attempts to obviously change our Constitution. And while I was there, I also got this book when I got the true crime story, because I am intrigued by this kind of stuff. It's called Extreme Killers, Tales of the World's Most Prolific Serial Killers by Michael Newton. I've read true crime books before. I can't believe, I think the last book I read was called Serial Killers, and it was quite disturbing. I think the actual author of that book said that he encountered 2 serial killers without knowing that they were serial killers. It wasn't until later that he saw them on the news and realized that he'd met them by just chance, you know? And so I thought that was quite scary, because it's real, you know? And so I grabbed this one just to see if it gives me that scary feeling. And not just that, but, you know, why not learn about this? Okay. These other 2 books I also got at the thrift store when I got White Fragility, along with this one. Okay, so I had been looking for this book for a long time. I think it was really, really popular at the time I was looking for it, and so Barnes & Noble didn't have it. I couldn't find it, I think, at Walmart. And then one day, without wanting to, at the thrift store, I found The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Because of, again, everything that's been going on, a lot of Instagrammers have really recommended this book because I guess they've found some similarities between what's been happening here and the reality in which we're living in. And I really wanted to read it. I can't bring myself to watch the show. Sometimes that stuff just kind of depresses me. So I thought the book would be better than watching the show. I also got The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. I really loved the movie, and I know that sometimes in movies they leave out stuff from the books. So I got the book because I wanted to get the full story, and here it is. I can't wait to read it. But I was excited to have found it. I would say it's in pretty decent condition at the thrift store. The next book I found was recommended by one of my coworkers, who I think she said her sister read it and told her about it. I wouldn't say this book is in the best condition. It's Verity by Colleen Hoover, but it's got the corner torn off. It's got like the spine pretty messed up. But I didn't care at the time. I just wanted to read it because the way she described it to me, it sounded pretty, like, it was pulling me in, so why not? Okay, we're almost done. I just have 3 more books. The next book I got because it was also on a video of Instagram of people recommending it. I actually saw this book when I was in high school, and we had a choice to pick between this book and a few other books, but I think I ended up choosing, maybe it was Beloved by Toni Morrison, I'm not sure, but this is The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. I never actually knew what it was about, but when I finally found it at Barnes & Noble, I read the back, and I thought it was something that I could maybe relate to. I'm just going to give you a quick read just because it did really intrigued me. Acclaimed by critics, beloved by readers of all ages, taught everywhere from grade schools to universities across the country, and translated all over the world. The House on Mango Street is the remarkable story of Esperanza Cordero, told in a series of vignettes, sometimes heartbreaking, sometimes deeply joyous. It is the story of a young Latina girl growing up in Chicago, inventing for herself who and what she will become. Few other books in our time have touched so many readers. So I feel like maybe this author and the character can speak to me as a Latina. Next, I got this book at Wingo. I was just shopping with my husband and kind of escaped to look at the book section. I didn't really think that they were going to have anything I wanted, to be honest, but I had been seeing this one all over the place, and it's small, but the wording is also small, so I think it's gonna be something that my mind is really gonna have to focus on, but I was excited to find it. It's called The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. It wasn't until I got the book that I realized it was book 1. And when I looked into it, I realized it was a book trilogy, and I was like, oh no, can I really focus on that? I don't know, but we will see. I'm not gonna read it this month, I'll tell you that. And the last book I got was also just recently, and also as a way to educate myself. It's called On Tyranny, 20 Lessons from the 20th Century by Timothy Snyder. It's tiny, so it's definitely something that I will be able to focus on. And I also saw this on Instagrammers' recommendations. A lot of these books are from recommendations. Sometimes I don't know what my mood is when I'm reading, or really what to read. So I go to Instagram or YouTube to try and get recommendations from you lovely people. I think for now that is what I'm gonna do. I just finished reading a book last night, and I don't want to tell you guys what I've read this month so far. It's only been a few books, but because I want to leave it for another video. But I do want to kind of share with you guys what I've picked as my next reads. I have a TBR, which I will also do a video on that to share with you guys, but some of those books are pretty old. I would say years old, and I've also been adding to my books, and I was going through them right now, and I thought, okay, I have to find a way to start clearing books out of my TBR, and I decided I'm going to do one new book, pick an old book, and then an audiobook. I think sticking to those 3 will help me kind of cover, but really tone down my TBR. I have a lot of books on there that I haven't read, and I'm just adding. I live in a studio, and I don't have a lot of space, so it's not like the best idea for me to be buying more books. And my husband says I'm crazy, but it calms me down, and so I really wanted to just do that. So yes, here are 2 of the books that I have picked to read next. I haven't picked my audiobook yet, but I'm sure I will tell you guys about it when I do a next video. Here are the next 2 books that I've picked to read. Not sure if I'll finish them this month, but we'll see. The first is called City of Beasts by Corey Wang. Did I just see that author's name somewhere else too? It sounds so familiar. You guys are gonna call me crazy. Okay. Oh, it's probably Carter Wilson, CW. Okay. I read the synopsis in the back of this, and I thought I was like, oh, that's why I picked it up. That's such a great, imagination. I'll read it to you guys really quick, but here we go. For 17 years, fees have lived separate from beasts. The division of the sexes has kept their world peaceful. Glory Rose is like most other fees her age. She adores her neighborhood's abandoned Costco, can bench her body weight, and she knew 27 beast counterattack moves by the time she was 7. She has never questioned the separation of the sexes or the rules that keep her post-nuclear hometown safe. But when her mother secretly gives birth to a baby beast, Glory grows to love the child and can't help wondering, what really is the difference between us and them? 5 years later, when her brother is snatched in a vicious raid, Glory and her best friend Sue do the unthinkable. Covertly infiltrate the city of beasts to get him back. What's meant to be a smash and grab job quickly becomes the adventure of a lifetime as the fees team up with a fast-talking, t-shirt cannon-wielding beast named Sway. And Glory starts to see that there's more to males and her own history than she's been taught. As Glory, Sway, and a motley cohort of friends go to the ends of the earth to find her little brother, maybe, just maybe, they can save their divided world while they're at it. So, from what I'm gathering, I think that the beasts are all males, and their world is divided between females and males. Why they call them beasts, though? That is the question. I know I read the synopsis when I first got it, and I must have also figured out that when I got it, but for a long time, because I didn't pick it back up, I kept thinking that there was literally a city of beasts, of like strange monsters with strange powers, and humans are trying to like keep them separated from them. Clearly not. But that's what I'm gonna read. And then I also I got the audiobook from Libby for this one, but again, it wasn't really grabbing my attention, and sometimes that happens when the reader is just boring me. I don't want to say that. It feels very mean, but when I get bored or their voice is very monotone, I just start to not focus. So because I started this one, The Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll, I thought I would pick up the book and actually read it myself because I just couldn't focus. The other idea I had was to read the book along with the audible just to kind of help my mind focus on the reading. Okay, I think that's gonna be my video for today, everybody. I'm sorry if I didn't really look at the camera very much or stuttered in some places. So you can see, this is my couch. Again, I live in a studio, so I don't really have a lot of places to record. Maybe I'll organize some things around, but for now, this is where I'm recording. My couch is behind me, my bed is in front of me, and my phone is on top of a book. It's the thickest book I had on my TBR that was gonna help me elevate my phone to a higher position, and thank you. It's called The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I've also seen that book around a lot, but like I said, my mind is just not focusing. And that's a huge book. It's a beast. So I thought that I'll just use it to prop up my phone right now. Thank you. So, bye everybody. Thank you so much for watching my video today. If you or anybody has any tips on what I can do to enhance my videos, or just what you would like to watch, that would be great. I think for my next video, I want to do the books I read for May, and also maybe see if I pick more books to read for June. Okay, thank you everybody. Have a good day.